Today. My name is James Hill. I run the YouTube channel MrBucsNation on YouTube. And in this video today, we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 25-11 Monday Night Football loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Hopefully you guys are all having a great night. I am having a great night myself, aside from, the Buccaneers losing. And there's a lot to go into with this game, right? I mean, a lot to kind of go over. The Bucs, were able to make it a little bit competitive at the end there, but overall they were not able to get the job done. We're going to be going over the stats, going over everything in between. The Bucs fall to 2-1. The Eagles move on to 3-0. And there was definitely a lot of different things that happened in this game. Mike Evans struggled. Cade Otton struggled a little bit. And it was just interesting, man. It really, really, really was just interesting. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're going to be talking about the stats first before we kind of dive into plays and everything along those lines. So let me go ahead and see if I can share my screen here just to kind of get you guys an idea of what was going on. So if we take a look at these stats here, right? I got my screen sharing here. We're going to zoom in. Let's first talk about quarterback Baker Mayfield. He was 15 of 25, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 2 sacks on the day for a quarterback rating of 73.1. A Bleacher Report gives this a meh kind of emoji, like meh, it's okay. And Baker Mayfield was okay in this game. I think that the things that happened in the game were not all Baker Mayfield's fault, in my opinion. I think that there was a lot of good to Baker Mayfield's game. He kind of worked with what he had, all things considered. And overall, it was just some tough sledding for the game. It really was just some tough sledding for the game, man. Mayfield did have the 1 interception, was just a late throw to Chris Godwin. Route was jumped by the safety. We'll probably be showing that play a little bit later on here. That was unfortunate. Didn't love to see that. But he did kind of catch some fire later in the game. Mayfield did throw a couple of nice passes to Mike Evans, threw a touchdown to Mike Evans as well, I guess I should say. And overall, Mayfield, I thought, did fine, all things considered, right? Eagles have a really good defense. They go out there and they do Eagle defense types of things. They were pressuring Baker Mayfield a lot in this game, and Mayfield didn't make as many mistakes as I think most people probably would have thought he was going to make in a game like this. So I will give Mayfield kudos to that. He certainly did not have, the worst game in the world, but nor did he have the best game in the world. I think what was probably one of the more disappointing things coming out of this game was the run game. We'll take a look at it right here. Rachaad White, 14 carries, 38 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. That's not very good. And part of that was on the Buccaneers running game, like in terms of White in general. And part of that was on the run blocking. Okay. You had a little bit of both things there. So for White, he did some good things, was kind of dicing up some guys in some situations, but also, just didn't get the job done in a lot of situations also. Got the chat going crazy, by the way, in here. It's not the defense's fault. We'll get to that in a little bit, Tampa Bay. Nah, it's not the defense. Let's talk about the officials. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Get real, bro. Start with the offense. Yeah, we're starting with the offense here. We got 53 people in here, by the way. Thank you guys so much for that. Still happy 2-1? Yeah. Chat's going crazy, folks. Thank you guys so much for that. Greatly appreciated. But Rachaad White, he was not great in this game. And I think that this is kind of showcasing a bit of a glaring issue where White and really a lot of the running backs that the Bucs have just not been great through 3 weeks. Sean Tucker only had 2 carries for 1 yard. Chase Edmonds is on the IR right now. And the Bucs want to run the football, but they just don't necessarily have the ability to do so well through 3 games right now. So it's interesting. Rachaad White did do some nice things. I do agree with that, but he did struggle in this game. Eagles have a really good run defense. Actually, the best run defense in the entire NFL. but maybe we need to see some. We definitely need to see more from the running game moving forward. Moving on to the wide receiver room, Mike Evans, 10 targets, 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Evans ended the game well, right? Had a touchdown, had probably the best catch of his career. I'll definitely showcase that play later on in this stream. Thank goodness. Bleacher Report, we get to show some highlights here. Love that. But yeah, man, like just a couple of bad drops from Evans earlier in the game. One comes to mind where it was a high pass. Evans was going to catch it right here. Didn't get the completion. Later on, Mike Evans could have had a touchdown. You know, good play by Sidney Brown, the Eagles safety, but it did fall incomplete. Could have been a touchdown there. And then even later on, another bad drop by Mike Evans going up against Darius Slay later in the game also. So Evans had a couple of bad moments in this game. Did again kind of make up for it later in the game. Again, had the absolute catch of his career later on in the game. A one-handed snag was wild. Evans was, kind of a little bit all over the place today. Chris Godwin, 5 targets, 3 catches, 32 yards. Bleh. You know, he wasn't really used that much in this game. Rachaad White, kind of talk about him more. 3 targets, 3 catches, 24 yards, but a fumble, a crucial fumble right at the end of halftime as well. That's plays you can't really afford to have against a team like the Eagles, and that happened. So that was really bad too. Cade Otton had a drop in this game as well. He only had 1 catch for 8 yards. Trey Palmer had 1 catch for 8 yards also, and then Devin Tompkins was used a lot more, which was surprising to me. I was surprised we saw more Devin Tompkins 4 targets than Trey Palmer 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards. Definitely want to see more of Palmer moving forward than Tompkins, in my opinion. Just seems like the more dynamic player. Could have been a matchup type of thing, but it was iffy to me. Kicking-wise, Chase McLaughlin made all of his kicks. No complaint there. I think McLaughlin did a great job. Defensively, things get interesting. Levante David, 13 tackles, had a sack, had a tackle for loss. I think Levante played really well. I think Devin White played pretty decent as well. 7 tackles. He had an interception. He had a pass deflection. I think Devin White had a pretty decent game also. Those two, well, you know, I say that also the running game was really, really good for the Eagles in this one. We'll take a look at that also. But all in all, David and White, I feel like did some decent stuff. Winfield and Neal were pretty iffy, especially in like run support. I think that they were almost considered a liability in some ways. They both finished with 11 tackles. Neal had a tackle for loss. But, you know, they did okay in some moments. McCollum was thrust into action in this game. Christian Izien was thrust into action this game. Jamel Dean went down a couple of times with injuries in this. We'll probably talk about that in a little bit. D. Delaney was thrust into action. He got an interception. Shout out to D. Delaney and a pass deflection. Hurts didn't have like a great game, I think. I really don't think Hurts had a great game in this one. He didn't need to. The running game is where the Eagles shined. Just getting manhandled on the defensive line, right? Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Logan Hall, even Vita Vea a little bit. Like the Eagles have a really, really good offensive line, folks, and it showed. The Buccaneers front defensive line unit was not very good. One guy I want to talk about, Greg Gaines, he actually had a couple of quarterback hits in this game. He didn't do bad in terms of pass rushing, but just the defensive line did not get it done today. They really didn't. Because, I mean, you take a look here, 201 rushing yards to the Bucs 41. You're not going to win many games with that. The Eagles, actually, their game plan and the Bucs game plans are very similar to how they want to execute on offense. And you take a look here, time of possession. This is exactly how the Bucs beat the Bears and the Vikings the past couple of weeks. You control time of possession, you run the football, and you just grind out the clock, man. The Bucs did make it more competitive towards the end of the game, but again, just taking a look at these stats, even penalties weren't terrible. 3 and 4 from both respective teams. 2 turnovers apiece. One was the Baker Mayfield pick. One was the Rachaad White fumble. What it boils down to is just the Eagles game plan where the Eagles were able to execute their game plan more so than the Bucs, and that is running the football, grinding out, dominating time of possession. That's exactly what the Bucs want to do this year. This is actually a good blueprint for what the Bucs want to do throughout the year, right? It just happened to them. This is the ideal game for the Bucs. Is just dominating in the run game and just getting the better of teams. There were some good moments from this team, right? I think that they kept it competitive towards the end. The game was essentially over, but there's a lot of stuff to improve on, I think. There really is. But they lost to a legit Super Bowl contender. It is what it is. The Eagles were literally in the Super Bowl last year. This loss is not the end of the world, but there's stuff that has to be improved on. I think you've got to take a legitimate look at the running game and figure out how to improve that. It's not for a lack of trying. You had, 15, 17 carries in this game, and you were down most of the game. But what's going on here? 38 yards and 2.7 yards per average. That's got to improve, man. It's got to. Now, is that run blocking? Is that Rachaad White not doing good enough? I don't know. But we've talked about it's probably a little bit of both. But, we've talked about the inefficiency in the run game, or I guess I should say the low average. Rachaad White's like in the top 10 in attempts this year. He's like worse than 32nd in average yards per run. That's got to improve. So I don't know what the answer is for that. Is it scheming? Is it, the O-line? Is it Rachaad White himself? I don't know, but we got to see more from that. Take a quick look at the Eagles. Hurts, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not a great day from Hurts, but this is where you see success. 130 yards from DeAndre Swift, 43 from Kenneth Gainwell, 28 from Hurts himself, and a rushing touchdown. A.J. Brown went crazy. 14 targets, 131 yards. The Eagles did Eagles things, man. The Bucs just, missed a couple of opportunities. The Mike Evans touchdown, that was a missed opportunity. The Rachaad White fumble, that was a missed opportunity. It was just some misses here and there that really were the deciding factor in this game. Really were. I do want to take a look at some plays, if we can find them, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Twitter. DeAndre Swift over 100 yards for the second straight week. I mean, yeah, it's exactly what happens, man. It's exactly what happens. I'm going to go ahead and go back to full screen for a moment while I pull up some plays from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Twitter. But yeah, just missed opportunities is what was the most unfortunate thing for this game. It really was. And you've got to see that improve. Point blank, simple as that. You got to be able to execute on opportunities whenever you are facing guys like the Philadelphia Eagles, who are a team that obviously can go out there and win some games. I mean, you just have to see improvement. And obviously this loss is not the end of the season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, folks. We're 3 games into the year, We're 3 games into the year. It's literally, the Buccaneers are 2-1. They're still first place in the NFC South. They lost to the Super Bowl contending Philadelphia Eagles. It is what it is. It happens. So, I will say this, like it isn't, folks. It isn't the end of the world. Nobody's going to get fired following this loss. They do have some stuff that they have to look at. Absolutely. But it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. Let's go ahead and take a look at some plays while we've got some time here. We've still got about 5-10 minutes left. Let's take a look at some of these plays, some of the stuff that we saw that was the most impressive from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some highlights, if you will. See if we can get rid of the volume here. There we go. So this was the Mike Evans touchdown. Kind of a Mike Evans score there. That's just Mike Evans, again, had a really solid game, all things considered. Did some Mike Evans things, and you just like to see it. You just like to see it from Mike Evans. Get a score on Darius Slay. That's not easy. That is not easy. Cannot stress that enough. Let's take a look, see if we can Obviously, they're showing the touchdowns and whatnot. Here we go. We're gonna see slow this up. Spins. Boom. Hold on one second. See if I can pause it. Look at this. Okay, I know it's not. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. I don't know if it'll let me zoom in. It won't. Let me see. Maybe now. There we go. It's a little blurry, but Evans is stabbing that out of the air with one hand. That's nuts. And then he's got a man carrying him, folks. What? Like, Mike Evans had a couple of crucial drops in this game, but then he makes the best freaking catch of his career. Nuts. Nuts, in my opinion. I mean, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Keep on going here. We'll see the Devin White interception. That was a very good play in its own right. Basically fell right to Devin White. Just Jalen Hurts with the missed throw, missed timing on a pass to DeAndre Swift. Devin White still got the catch and was still able to go downfield, help out the Bucs, you know? And that's more of what we've got to see, right? That's more of what we got to see from this team. For sure. For sure. Kind of showing some run defense here as well. You know, run defense was iffy today. I will say this was a great start to the game in terms of defense, right? Like, you got an early stop on the Eagles on 4th down when they went for it. That was a huge play. Ryan Neal, that's what we're talking about. Ryan Neal, where he made some plays earlier in the game. But, you know, teams like this, whenever they're controlling time of possession, whenever they're controlling all these different types of things, that's where you run into some trouble, man. That's where you run into some trouble. Again, I just want to take a look at this Mike Evans catch. You know, again, a couple of bad drops for Evans for sure in this game, right? A couple of bad drops, but like, you know, people are going to say it's a bad throw by Mayfield. Kind of was. Might have been intercepted had Evans not stabbed it out of the air with one hand. But, you know, hey, didn't happen. I don't think it would have been intercepted, actually. Maybe it would have. Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. Somebody said Jake Camarda might be the best player. Yeah, actually, I want to go back. I want to see if we can take a look at some of the stats here in terms of Jake Camarda. Because if I can find his stats, give me one moment, folks. I want to see if we can find what Jake Camarda was doing in this game, because man went kind of crazy. I guess we're not going to get Jake Camarda stats, but at least here on Bleacher Report. But Camarda had like a 74-yard punt today. It was absolutely electric. It was amazing. You'll love to see it. And that was all good. We'll go ahead and end it off with some of the buzz of what's going on from around the league. Let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at this actually, because Todd Bowles actually has some pretty interesting thoughts here. This is per Jenna Lane of ESPN and some other folks on Twitter. So we'll go ahead and dive into this real quick, because this is some very good points here. Bucs coach Todd Bowles didn't mince words when asked his thoughts on the run game tonight. We didn't have one. No, they did not. They did not at all, actually. That's definitely something that you're going to have to look at. I understand the Eagles have a fantastic defensive line, defensive front, right? Got to run the ball better. You've got to. Jalen Carter finished with a team high 5 pressures on 16 pass rushes. Dude's a beast. Can't believe he fell to the Eagles when he did. Fans impressed with Hurts' versatility. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a good guy. Nick Sirianni went into the stands. Thank Eagles fans. Nuts. Nick Sirianni, man. That's the kind of guy he is. So we're not going to get any other real updates. Jamel Dean missed some time. He was ruled out. I don't know what's going on with Jamel Dean. Went out a couple of times in this game, which was unfortunate. Hopefully he's okay. We'll probably have some updates talking about that later. The safety was bad. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about play calling as well, and we'll kind of finish on this. I don't know, man. I mean, I think also you've got to take a look at execution, right? You've got to take a look at execution. I think the Buccaneers, their game plan still to, their game plan of what they want to do is what the Eagles did in this game. The Eagles just executed better on the game plan. Part of that may be play calling, but part of that's also execution. Rachaad White's got to run the football better. The offensive line has got to run block better. And then this could be an entirely different ball game, folks. Really could be. I think the Eagles are a blueprint for what the Bucs want to do. I really do believe that. Didn't happen today, unfortunately. Didn't happen for the Bucs today. And it is what it is, you know? Like the Bucs, you know, this is the running stat line that you want to see for the Bucs. If you're Dave Canales, if you're Todd Bowles, right? 130 yards from DeAndre Swift, 43 yards from your backup, 30 total attempts from your two running backs. Like the Bucs would love to have that. Jalen Hurts still passing the ball 37 times because guess what? They dominated the time of possession. 38 minutes and 55 seconds to 21 minutes and 5 seconds. Like that's what the Bucs want. Just didn't happen today. It just didn't happen today. And I'm sure they're going to take a look at execution. I'm sure the Buccaneers are probably sitting there thinking, well, you know, what's going on with Rachaad White? You know, like what's going on with that? And it is what it is. Baker Mayfield says everybody's going to take some of the blame on the offense for this one. Yeah. I mean, that's basically how it should be. 2 turnovers back-to-back in the second quarter killed the offense. That's part of it as well. I mean, that's part of it as well, man. It really is. Todd Bowles says the Bucs can't mope about tonight's loss. Got a big division game in week 4. That's facts, man. You have got the New Orleans Saints after this. You really do. So it's as a team they didn't play well. It wasn't just the offense. They do a good job on first down on either side of the ball. Maybe the wording there was didn't. But yeah, man. I mean, the Eagles just gave the Bucs the blueprint of what they want to do on offense. They've got to execute better. You know, Baker Mayfield, you know, said that everybody's going to take a little bit of the blame for sure. And they didn't have a run game today, man. They really didn't. Would be nice. We always let the Saints do whatever they want. We'll probably make Winston look like first team All-Pro. Wouldn't be surprised. None. We'll see. There's a new Bucs offense, you know, just as it's going to be a new Saints, you know, situation. The Bucs have a different play caller than they did last year. How's that going to affect it? We'll have to wait and see. But folks, listen, it's not the end of the world that the Bucs are 2-1. It's not. And we'll see what the Buccaneers can do. Coming out of this loss, this is definitely like a punch in the mouth type of loss. But they have the blueprint of what they want to do on offense now, right? This is pretty much a very similar offensive showing. Like the Bucs just had happen to them what they did to the Bears last week. You know? Controlled the game. The Eagles controlled the game, ran all over the Bucs, and that's what they want to do moving forward in these games. So it is what it is. But folks, now the Buccaneers have a division matchup for first place in the NFC South against the Saints next week. Should be back here on Bleacher Report talking about that game, so stay tuned for that as well. And guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this stream. Really is appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys so much for everybody who came over from my YouTube channel. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And we'll see you in the next stream here on Bleacher Report. But guys, again, thank you so much. Stay tuned for all the news here on Bleacher Report for everything Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just the NFL in general. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, folks, we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, here on Bleacher Report, goodbye for now. Go Bucs. See you guys soon. Have a great night.